What is up, guys? This is Saros Media here, and today we are taking a look at a fabulous mod that would have been. It's kind of like we're exploring really what could have been an excellent mod. It's kind of depressing, actually. And for those of you who haven't already guessed by seeing the buildings around me, this is actually what was called Middle-earth Role-Playing Project. Unfortunately, this mod is dead, and if you haven't seen my Do We Need Another Lord of the Rings game, which the answer is yes, we do. If you haven't seen that video, then I highly suggest you check that out. But basically, this was taken down by Warner Brothers. They did not want this mod to be developed. So you might see some pop in. I haven't really set up the settings like I've liked to. In fact, I was very lucky to get this set up in the first place. It's kind of hard to install. For some reason, I had to like uninstall and reinstall my Oblivion like 4 times today, so I'm recording this kind of late. So please bear with me if I sound kind of tired. But as you can see, it's not completely finished at all. There are NPCs, but only in one town that I know of, and that's Bree. And what we're going to be doing is we are in the Shire right now, if you haven't noticed. And we are going to be slowly but surely traveling across Middle-earth. I don't know if this will be a full-fledged series or what. But let's take a look here. So we got the Shire, and you got a full-fledged map of Middle-earth. Now I'm trying to decide, do I want to take the route of the Fellowship or try and go to Erebor? If we were to go to Erebor, we could go through, let's see, we could try and go through the Gap of Rohan, go back up that way. Maybe, I think we should go to Mordor, but we'll stop along our way. So the first place we're going to be heading to is Bree, which we are going to set a marker to. There are fast travel for those of you who want to just get around real quickly, but I feel like that kind of takes away from it. I really want to show you how big this world is. So let's see if we can find a bridge here that can take us across. Can the horse swim? Not only can he didn't even have to swim. Alright. So we are on our way to Bree. We'll see how long that takes. So let's have a little bit of a discussion on what is currently going on with, man, all this pop in. What is currently going on with Middle-earth and the gaming perspective. So we have a new game coming out very soon, actually, in a couple days, called Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. And when this was first announced, I was, you know, reasonably excited for it. It looked interesting. You know, it's a new Lord of the Rings game, so I was gonna be interested. I love Lord of the Rings, so I decided to, you know, just hang tight, not to get too excited about it yet, because I didn't want to have a huge disappointment like Lord of the North was. So I just waited and kept quiet and didn't jump on the hype train. So I waited a little bit, and then they showed gameplay footage, and that actually made me a little bit glad that I wasn't too hyped about it, because of it seemed to me at the moment it looked a lot like an Assassin's Creed ripoff, which is what a lot of people had said. And let's see if we can fix this pop in. We actually have to restart Oblivion, so you're gonna have to bear with me on the pop in. If I do another episode, I'll make sure to turn that off. But anyways, so you know, we're it looked like a big Assassin's Creed ripoff, and a lot of people thought that initially, but I bit my tongue and didn't say anything yet. Then they came out with E3, and they showed more gameplay of it, and how it was unique, and how they had this really interesting Nemesis system, and it grabbed my interest. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not super excited for Shadow of Mordor. I'm kind of skeptical about it, because I really don't want to be disappointed again. And I find that if I overhype games, then that's usually going to be an automatic disappointment. It's automatic. Whether the game is good or not, if I overhype it, it's still going to be disappointing to me. As was Destiny. I thought it was going to be really cool, but apparently it's not. I haven't actually played Destiny, and I don't really plan on after seeing some of the reviews and what people are saying. It just doesn't look very good. And that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. I know everybody's talking about Destiny right now. So I thought, okay, well, this could be a good game. I'm just going to wait for reviews to get out. And then IGN extensively covers this game. And whenever IGN or any other gaming website gives all these awards, says, oh, this is the best game ever, and it's at E3 and it's not even out yet, and it could be completely different, as in the Watch Dogs case, it kind of concerns me. It's not that I don't trust IGN, it's just I can already see that it's kind of trying to build up some hype, and that scares me, honestly. So I'm sitting here going like, okay, do I really want this game or not? It's coming out really soon. In fact, what is it today? Let me look at my phone. September 21st as of I'm recording this, and I think it comes out September 30th for the PC, which is what I plan to get it on if I do get it. And you know, I just don't know. And here's some of the reasons that I'm not looking too forward to it. I mean, heck, if it's a great game, I'm going to pick it up, don't worry. If there's a good Middle-earth game, you can pretty much count on me being one of the first people to try and pick it up. But, some rocky terrain here, guys. So one thing that kind of concerns me is they haven't really talked about how big the world is. Now, I know some people might say, well, size doesn't really matter. And yeah, that's true to some extent. I feel like I would rather have a smaller world full of tons of content and replayability than the large, empty world would have. And I find that's kind of some of the problems with open world games sometimes. They kind of... What? Bergamot. I guess I can't take that on a horse, huh? But anyways, so it takes place in Mordor, which is interesting. You know, we've never really seen Mordor very often, actually, even in the movies. I mean, we see it briefly, but nothing. It's just a big volcanic wasteland, and if you've read read the books before or know anything about the backstory, it wasn't always that way. It was actually very lush and pretty, because there actually is an ocean in Mordor, and we might be able to see it on this map, can we? No, they don't show it. But anyways, so I'm like, okay, that's an interesting design choice to have it. Oh my gosh. Okay, do you see that tree popping right there? That really scared me. I legitimately thought that was like an enemy or something. Well, there aren't any enemies here. So this is the town of Bree. And it's fairly nice looking. I will say this, the performance is not... It's not very well optimized, because this mod had to be kind of kick the bucket, as we all know. Default region name. And... Is it? Nope. I seriously thought I was going to crash. But in Bree, there's... Oh, man. I didn't want to do that. Get back on my unicorn. I'm going to say this. If you do download the mod, make sure that you get yourself a horse. Because there is a ton of walking and a ton of nothingness. So, we are in Bree. We might as well go to Imansul. Or Amansul. I think that's how you pronounce it. Because that's another iconic location that everybody would know. Weathertop, they call it. Golly. I'm so sorry for the performance right now. This usually isn't too bad. So we got some NPCs, you know, pretty interesting. They don't really do anything, unfortunately. It's really sad. If I were to convey one emotion about this whole mod, it's great sadness. It's just like, oh, it had so much potential and it was just instantly destroyed. Oh, that sucks so much. And it's easy to get mad at Warner Brothers, and it's understandable. I am mad at Warner Brothers, but I'm gonna try and move on and hope that they will create a game that's as good or even better, although that's probably not gonna happen. So I guess this is the gate. So just like in the original Lord of the Rings, or I see the original, the only Lord of the Rings, the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, there's a lot of walking, which is to be expected because this is quite a vast land. It is currently going to rain, so I don't know if we'll be able to go up over this mountain. We may have to turn around. I don't see any way, at least in my character's field of view, to get out of here. So it looks like we have no choice but to go straight. But here's what I want to ask. What would you like to see in a Middle-earth game? And I think I know most people's answer. It's kind of similar to what this was striving to be. Kind of like an RPG, kind of Elder Scrolls type experience, but based in Middle-earth. I mean, that would be incredible. That would be incredible. But for now, it looks like we're not going to get that. With Shadow of Mordor, it's progressing. It may be very good. Who knows? And if it is, that's great. It's a step in the right direction because, as we know, Lord of the Rings hasn't really been doing very well with video games in the past few years. War of the North wasn't really brilliant at all, and the only really good Lord of the Rings games I can remember, or at least for me, I haven't played every Lord of the Rings game, of course, but the ones that I can remember were, let's see, what was it called? Oh yeah, Battle for Middle-earth, which is basically StarCraft, Lord of the Rings, but it was still good. And which is like really rare now. Isn't it like $200 on Amazon to get a copy? That's pretty crazy. And a lot of people didn't like this game. Said it was kind of average, which I can kind of agree. But I actually liked it a lot. It's one of my favorite Lord of the Rings games because it's better than a lot of the Lord of the Rings games. And this is Lord of the Rings Conquest. And for those of you who don't know, it's basically Star Wars Battlefront with Lord of the Rings stuff. I liked it. I mean, yeah, sure, it was kind of got old and repetitive. It's pretty much average, but it satisfied my needs. But there's just so much that can be done with this universe. It's so sad. And I would love to see this wonderful universe that Tolkien has created for everyone to be played out in a video game. I mean, the potential is just limitless. And some people say, well, you know, Skyrim already has elements of Lord of the Rings, so there's your Lord of the Rings RPG right there. Yeah, it does. just like almost every fantasy game ever, because Lord of the Rings was one of the, I don't want to say the first, because I could be incorrect on that, but one of the most major high fantasy novels of all time. And a lot, even Oblivion has some inspiration from Lord of the Rings, which isn't a bad thing at all. I think that's great. I have no problem with seeing kind of Lord of the Rings elements in games. I think that's fine. It's, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But I want a pure Lord of the Rings game where I could, if I wanted to, I could do what I'm doing right now. I could set out with more cities and interaction and stuff like that, and it'd be cool to have some orc camps patrolling and you have to fight them off. But I'd like to go to Weathertop with some of my friends and just sit there, which brings up another topic. I actually can do that in Lord of the Rings Online, but Lord of the Rings Online doesn't really, it's a good MMO, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't really deliver on what I really want. Where is Amon's soul? Is that it? It seems like it'd be a little bit, oh dang it. Space is action in this game, and I'm not used to it. I was wanting it to jump. E is to jump. Okay, well, let's go up here, and at least if this isn't Weathertop, we can at least tell from here if we can find it. We can see if we can find it. But I'm fairly certain that we are right near Amon's soul. Some people might say that they don't want a Lord of the Rings game. And that might even be fans who say that. And that's completely fine, but I'd like to see it. I just think that'd just be awesome. It'd be epic. Maybe it wouldn't be. Maybe it'd be turned into a horrible disaster, and it would send Lord of the Rings out of the gaming market for quite some time, but I think a very well done Lord of the Rings game can definitely be accomplished with the right amount of effort, polish, dedication, love, time. I don't see Warner Brothers letting go of Lord of the Rings for a long time, at least for a while. The Hobbit is still going on and everything like that. And they have a contract. But I will say this, Warner Brothers has failed to impress me with any Lord of the Rings games. EA at least did some good Lord of the Rings games. Like I said, Conquest was decent to me. I liked it. Some people absolutely hated it. Some people loved it. It doesn't really matter. Can we not get up here? Please. Please let me up here. Please. Thank you. And Battle for Middle-earth was really good, actually. I'd even say it's one of the best RTS games. Now, there are a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, there's also mods for Lord of the Rings that are really good. The only one that comes to mind that is hands down the best Lord of the Rings mod I have come across is Third Age Total War, which I've failed to show on this channel because I'll have to reinstall that. But if you don't know what it is, it's a mod for Medieval 2 Total War, or I guess more specifically, I think it's Total War Kingdoms, the expansion for it, that is literally just... This is Weathertop. Holy cow, guys, we are on Amon's soul. Let's just take a moment to walk around. They made it a lot taller than it looked in the movies. So now we are at Amon's soul. So we've come this far. That doesn't seem very far. So our next destination is going to be for the Gap of Rohan, which will be quite a while. So let's get ourselves positioned on our trek. That'll do. Alright, so let's just go this direction. Hopefully we don't die. But anyways, like I was saying, I just want a good Lord of the Rings game, please. But why? Why is it so hard? I would just want an open world Middle-earth where it's kind of like Skyrim, but it has its own... What? This is definitely not the Shire. That must be a bug. Or is it? Is it actually in the boundaries of the Shire? I don't think so. No, it can't be. What this shows me is that it can be done. And I believe it can be done. And I don't know who's going to develop it. I don't know if I'll develop it. I don't know if some random person who may not even be born yet will develop it. It doesn't matter who develops it. I don't even care if Warner Brothers develops it. If it's a good game, it's a good game. I just feel that Warner Brothers is not going to do that. At least at first. Because I feel like they're trying to play it safe right now. I definitely respect the team that is working on Shadow of Mordor, and I appreciate what they're doing. I appreciate that they're trying to stick to the lore and not veer off too much. And it's interesting choice to put it in Mordor, because we've never really seen that before in really any adaptation of Tolkien's Middle-earth. I mean, we've seen it in some games, but not like it is in this. This is like in between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, so it's like right when Sauron returns to Mordor. So it's really cool. And there's so much that can be done. Maybe the world will be too big. I don't know. Maybe Middle-earth. I know that Middle-earth, like, if you were to put it to scale to actual continent size, it's absolutely gigantic. I'm sure, and I wouldn't actually mind this if they kind of shrunk it down a little. Here's one thing I'd want them to nail if they made an open world Middle-earth game. And some people do overlook this in games, but I absolutely think this makes or breaks a game and a movie, and it is music. Lord of the Rings already, the movies at least, had excellent sound design and excellent, what should I call it? Excellent music. The soundtrack in that movie is iconic. It's beautiful. It has a song for every mood. You have very cheerful songs, you have very epic songs, you have very sad songs, you have everything. It's just really cool. And I'd love to be like riding through Rohan really fast with all this waving grass and just seeing this huge city in the distance and hearing these fantastic French horns and kind of, you know how that Rohan theme goes in Lord of the Rings. It'd just be so cool. And I'd love to hear this really epic theme as I ride up and see Minas Tirith in the distance. I mean, that would be awesome. Or just walk through the Shire and hear those wonderful, wonderful flutes. Will it be done? I don't know. But I can dream. And I absolutely hope that it will. And I don't know. Maybe I'll make it someday. I am looking into game design. I know it sounds very ambitious and unlikely, but I am a person who believes in dreams, and I believe that anything can be accomplished. So, I don't know. But like I said, it may not be me. But whoever it is, please don't mess it up. Please, don't mess it up. Well, guys, that's all I'm going to do for today. I know it was kind of a boring, rambling video, but I kind of wanted to get a video out, and I felt that it was kind of appropriate to talk about this. I really wanted to kind of talk about Shadow of Mordor for a little bit, but then it kind of led me to this. I was going to go back on the Minecraft Middle-earth server, but since y'all are already seen that, I kind of wanted to show you this. And I did remember that I was planning to show y'all this, but I never really got around to it until now. So, here's what I'm showing you. This is what could have been if it wasn't absolutely destroyed by Warner Brothers. And yes, it's barren, but you have to keep in mind they weren't finished with it yet. But I definitely recommend, if you have the time and you have the patience and you really like Lord of the Rings, to check it out. And you know, I'll put the mod link in the description, and that'll give you tutorials on how to like go. You can like warp to certain places. You don't have to ride around everywhere. Now here's what I will tell you. This is for Oblivion. You do need Oblivion, so keep that in mind. It is not for Skyrim. It was being developed for Sky. So they were developing it for Oblivion, and then they saw that Skyrim came out and were like, hey, we might as well stop working on Oblivion and port it to Skyrim, which that makes sense. And looks like we're gonna have to go towards this mountain. And that's when they got shot down. Although I will link in the description of a rather promising looking mod. I'm not going to name it because I don't want anything to get hyped up too much, but let's just put it this way. If you like Skyrim and you like Middle-earth and this guy really knows what he's doing, you might be in for a little treat. But anyways, guys, that's all I'm going to talk about today. I know it's kind of a really unorganized, rambling video. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to Knight's Kingdom. I've been Sir Awesome, playing Middle-earth Role-Playing Project, or MERP for short, and I will see y'all later. Adios.